Alrighty. This is the Honeycomb Mittens. Now, I have to angle the camera a little bit better. There we go. Nope. I'm trying to have it so that you don't see all the junk on my desk. Or my controller, or my headset, and all that stuff. Alright. Let's see. I should put honeycomb in the title. There. And my music stopped. There we go. All right, so the pattern for this is that I'm following is this pattern. I should have actually added that as a command, but this was kind of a last minute decision to do the mittens on stream because I found out yesterday morning that the stuff I've been making is going to be carried in a store. So I have to get some stuff done to send to the handcrafted house. So I've been working on the cuff part, and you have to do this for 3 inches. So we've got to be getting close to doing this. So let's just see here. So I had this little, I got a trusty little measuring tape here. So 3 inches is actually, no pun intended, longer than you think. So we're actually at 3, we're just over the 3. So I mean, it's a guideline. It all depends on how you would want it. Now the thing is, I have to, on my last row, I have to increase 6 stitches evenly across. So because I'm knitting in the round on double pointed needles, I have to increase 2 stitches on each row, so on each needle. So I'm going to actually do that on this row, and I'm going to space them evenly. So I will do this one. Then I'm going to increase the stitch, I'm just ducking down, grabbing that stitch, and that's going to count as another stitch when I go to do the next row. And I know where my start and stop is on when I'm knitting in the round, because I always leave a tail at the beginning. Hey Smithy, how are you? Happy Monday. Doing a craft stream, and which I realize you see that. I have to get some stuff done to deliver to a store that is going to be selling my items. You're doing some Fortnite? Nice. You must have that battle pass done. The new season must start soon too, does it? I can't keep up with all. Every game now has a battle pass. Every game has seasons, which is smart because they're all keeping on top of the competition and such. But one. Two. Well, I definitely appreciate you hanging out. Alright, this is the last one to do the increase. And after I do the increase, I'm just going to double check my stitch count to make sure that everything is a-okay, because now is the time, if for any reason I don't have my stitch numbers right, now's the time to know, because we're about to start a pattern, and if the numbers aren't correct, the pattern is not going to work. So let's see. We should have 48 because we had 42 to begin with. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48. We're at 48. Perfect. So now, one thing that I do that isn't in the pattern is before I start into the pattern, I purl 2 rows, because one of the patterns I had before, it called for that, and it worked. It looked way better. And it just makes it easier to start the next section. So I'm going to purl 2 rounds, which just purling. There's 2 types of stitches in knitting: knit and purl. So when you see the cuff, that is a mixture of knit and purl. There's knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, all around. What am I making? I'm making a mitten. If you click on the link there, I'm making mittens. They're called honeycomb mittens. So I'm going to purl the next 2 rounds. I know it's like still technically the middle of summer, but the store that wants to sell my stuff, because it's still technically tourist season and stuff, they need to get some of this. And you're going to see once we get some of these rows done. The camera may still be too close because by the time I pick it up, it's having a bit of issue focusing on it, isn't it? It's hard to tell because I was doing the cross stitch the other night, and I had to adjust it as well. It just seems the camera I have, it's not a top of the line camera by any means. I think I paid like $30 for it. At the time it was doing what I needed it to do, right? So I mean, I was gonna put a ton of money into anything like that if it wasn't gonna be something that was used a whole lot, because I put the more money into my camera that's on me. So So I have to get some mittens made and some hats and probably some scarves. And I've got a blanket all set to go. And what else do I gotta do? I gotta make some teddy bears. So it's kind of exciting because my stuff was just basically selling through word of mouth and online kind of thing. All right, so there's one row of the Purl. And a lady I know, her and a couple of her friends opened up a store on, it's about a 45-minute to an hour drive away in another part of the island. Anyway, it's called the Handcrafted House, and it is primarily items that are made by people on Prince Edward Island, of a decent quality, and they take people's items in to sell them. They take a percentage of the sales, which is only proper if they're going to be in their store. Anyway, a few years ago, she had got me to make something for her. Specifically, it was just for her own. And when the seasons were getting kind of different, like coming up, like fall, winter, and all that. I know it seems weird to be thinking about that right now, but that's coming up. Anyway, so I got an email from her saying, "Are you still making stuff?" And I'm thinking, okay, she must want something again or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What do you need?" Because the way I work is they tell me what they're looking for. I find out how much it's going to be for the materials and how much time it would basically take me to make it. And that's roughly, I adjust the price as to what's what. And she's like, no, it's not for me. I'm like, oh. She goes, well, no, not really. And she told me what she wanted to do. And she's like, she mentioned the items that she was thinking of. And I'm like, sure. She's like, whenever you want to get them to me. She said, I don't need them like today, tomorrow, whatever. She said, just in general. She said, because some of the things I make, there's nobody around here making them. All right, so we got our 2 rows of Purl done. And you can see it kind of looks a little different there. Kind of. You can kind of see. So now we are going to start adding the second color as soon as I find the end of it. And this is where you can you can basically customize whatever. So this is where it gets a little, you gotta pull that down in through the middle just so you can get a hold of it. So down with your contrast color, you knit 4, slip 2 purlwise, and you're going to see what that causes. So we're not using the off-white color at all right now. That's going to go just to the side, and you're not going to use that. So right now we are going to knit 4, slip 2. So the reason you have to kind of hold on to this one right now is because it's not anchored. So it's a little loose at first. 1, 2. So knit 4, but then you're going to take 2, which you're not going to do anything with the stitches, and just put them on your needle. I'm still not fussy on the camera angle here, just a second. And I'm wondering, I think it's because it's the brightness. Because I can tell you this, when I'm looking at OBS, it's not near. Alright, so now we got a knit 4. And remember, you're not using that white color at all. So you're going to do this all the way around. Knit 4. And then you're going to slide to the purl way. And the difference between like a knit stitch is knit, you're going up this way, over, and like that. Purl wise, you're coming through from the back. Alright, so that's one round of that done. Now, I do have a sheet off to the side where I'm keeping track of the pattern because I have to do that was one round. I have to do 5 rounds total before I go on to the next step of the pattern. It's some Minute Maid mittens. It's Mitten Monday. Mitten Monday. If you're going to name it right. How is work? I was trying to adjust the light so it wasn't so bright. Oh, you know what I forgot to take down with me? My stitch holder, because when it gets time to make the thumb hole, you have to put the stitches on a holder. Alright, that's round 2. Once you get going and you get used to the pattern, it's super easy. Owen. Somebody fell asleep at lunch and they need to get up. So I have to, I used to have tags to put on my stuff that I made, but I want different ones. I have a Cricut machine now that can cut things out. So I want to make something a little more fancy, a little more, not that the others weren't professional looking, because they were, but just something different. I haven't really totally come up with an idea yet. So you're going to see, whenever it said about to purl, slip those 2 purlwise, we're literally not doing anything with them throughout these whole 5 rows. We're just moving them from one needle to the next. And you'll see what happens after we finish this set of the pattern. There's 2 parts to the pattern. And you'll see what happens. So, a lot of people my age don't do stuff like this anymore. My grandmother taught me this when I was 10, so that's a few years ago. She tried to teach me and all my cousins. And I was pretty much the only one. I enjoy it. I do this and I crochet. Crocheting is way faster, and between the two I prefer crocheting. Just because if you happen to make a mistake, it's way easier to fix it. It's a lot more forgiving. Way more forgiving. So I'm thinking, okay, Saturdays are going to be, Saturday night is the Stardew Valley cross stitch now, which was fun the other night. And I think Mondays are going to be Makers and Crafting Mondays. And then the other 3 days that I stream, it's going to be gaming. Just kind of mixes it up, and then that way, whatever I need to be working on for the store, I can be doing that and doing this and hanging out with everybody. So it's kind of a win-win thing. At least that's the plan for now. I know the crafting one doesn't always bring the numbers in, but I'm all about enjoying myself. And alright, so that was the 5th one. So now we're going back. Now you're going to set that colored strand aside, and I'm going to switch back to the off-white. I know it looks white, but it's off-white. We're going to switch back to that, and you'll see what we're going to do. We're going to purl all the way around again, just like we did those first 2 rows, and we're not going to skip. So the purls, you go in this way. Then we're going to purl all the way around for 2 rows. Owen, up you get. What? Owen, it's 2:30. All right. You gotta get stuff done though. Can't be a lazy butt. I suppose I could turn off the words on stream because there's not really enough people to play it. I find that game's fun. And it's kind of nice to throw it in there when you're doing something like this so there's some interaction with everybody. Alright, we're almost around for round one here. I don't know if you can hear it, but someone's getting their grass cut across the street. Trying to keep an eye that the cat's leaving the yard alone too. Alright, there's round one. So we do that again. You want to be careful too when you're pulling your yarn that you have your tension the same so that it's even stitches all the way around. That's very important. And that's, if you're just learning how to do stuff like this, that's something that takes a bit of time to kind of master a little bit. And something you need to learn too is, like, whenever you're looking at a pattern, it'll tell you like needles are a certain size or whatever needle you need to make a certain size square. And it'll tell you, you know, so many rows, so many stitches equal so many inches. Because how tight I knit might not be as tight as, say, you do or somebody else. So depending on how you tend to do your tension, you may have to up or down a needle size to get the right size test square, because the size of the item you're making, if it's a sized item, is based on that. So if you knit looser, your square would be bigger. Therefore, if you were trying to make a size medium sweater, and it might end up being actually size large, it can mess up the end result of what you're doing. So you have to be careful. If you get what I'm saying. I find this too, it's nice to kind of mix it up some, because there's kind of a rut in games right now. There's some that I'm looking forward to coming out, and I mean, I'm enjoying Splitgate and Call of Duty and that, but it's the same old. And it's nice to have a change of pace, if you know what I mean. Alright, there's our 2 purl rows. So now you'll see it makes a bit of like the honeycomb. So now here's what's different. So we did the 2 rows of purl. Now we have to do another section of the pattern, but we don't want it to be just above it. We want it to be offset into where these are. So now instead of doing knit 4 purl 2, we're going to knit 1, then purl 2, knit 4, purl 2, knit 4 all the way around, so that it'll offset. Let me double check. Yes. So now we're going to pull that off to the side with our purpley color, knit 1, purl 2 so that those are in the middle, then we're going to knit 4, purl 2 all the way around. We're tangled here. Owen, come on. There's the first row. So each section of the pattern, there's really like 7 rows. The 2 purl and the 5 colored insert. So that's quite the change. Yesterday I was playing Madden football and Call of Duty, and today we're knitting. But variety's nice. And afterwards, when this gets uploaded to YouTube, which if you're not following me, if you type in !YouTube or go to youtube.com/slangel, the video for this will be up there, and I will also share the link to the pattern. Or actually what I might do is attach a copy of the one I use to keep track of where I'm at. Just so if you do decide to make it, that it's there for you to print off if you want it. And I realized too that the camera and stuff's blocking my face, but you're here to look at the craft and not me, right? So that's okay. Owen. Teenagers, they fall asleep at the drop of a hat. I'm using my purpley color is a variegated color, so it changes color every so often, like from a lighter to a darker. And I'm finding the lighter is very similar to the off-white we're using. Owen. Owen. Get up. Come on. You gotta get up now. Alright, we're almost done another row here. I hadn't made these in forever. But they're super easy to make. And really warm. I did make some years ago. What I did was at the dollar store I bought one of those like thin fleece blankets for like $4. And I lined them for next to nothing. I think I messed that up just a second. I started to purl instead of knit. Which would not have been good. so that should be our 5th row, which it is. So now we purl another 2 rows with the white, the off-white, and we'll go from there. All right, so and we go every stitch this time, so we're not just going to skip those other 2. So hopefully everybody's having a good Monday. It's hard to believe it's like the 16th of August. Where did the summer go? I know the days are getting shorter. Like it's getting dark earlier again. Not a fan of that. But I'm also not a fan of the 42-degree heat we're having with the humidity. And that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. It's like 110, 112 Fahrenheit. It's kind of disgusting, actually. We have air conditioning in the house, so it's a huge plus. I'm a little slower going from the knit to the purl. It's a little, the first row after you switch over, you gotta be a little careful so that things don't slip off when you don't want them to. Or that's what I find anyway. Oh, 1 second. Hello? Hello? Mm-hmm. No? I had to look. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, how would you pay for that? How would you do it without a mic? Um, put it on the PC card, I guess. Yeah, but I also don't know if I can do it then either. I know. And I don't know if it's to do with the lighting or what it is. Because if I get the lighting just right, it's not too bad. And the funny thing is, on OBS, it doesn't look terrible. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, well, what do you think about it, Bri? Okay, bye. Probably should have put my Be Right Back screen up. Anyway, couldn't really reach it. Let's keep on trucking. All right, there's round one of the purl. Now we do the second row. Oops. Owen, up you get. Get a snack. Please. All right. Yeah, I don't know if it's the lighting or the camera. I can't tell. All right, so this is our second row of the purl done. So that completes one set of the honeycombs. See? Now, before we I'm just double checking something on the pattern here. 1 second. Okay, so now we have to do rounds 1 to 13 again. So rounds 1 to 14 were like, these were 7, the 5 colored and the 2, so that's 7, then 5 color and 2, that's another 7, that's 14. So now we're going to do another section of these, and then up until the second row. We're not going to do the second row, but we're going to get up to, because then you're going to stop to make the thumb where the thumb's going to be. So we're back to doing round 1, which was knit 4, purl 2, slip the 2 purl ways. I wonder. I'm going to play around with something for a second. 38. So I'm just wondering. Bear with me. Yep, I'm totally holding up a light to cover my green screen. I'm just trying to see what's the best way to get this lit. Because I have a feeling it's the lighting from my green screen light that's messing up my... I don't know. That's my pattern. I also have this on. Let's see. No, it doesn't really help a whole lot. All right. We'll just keep going with what we were doing. Oops, I hit the camera. So sorry. All right, so now we're back to the knit 4 purl 2 so that we can get the rest of our pattern going here before we have to do our thumb hole. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I keep hearing little pops from Gilded. There's some big discussion going on there about some production stuff for Evolve. I also have to schedule my football game with Slippy for this week coming up. My Dallas Cowboys played against the San Francisco 49ers, which is slippy. Could be interesting. I have to play smart in that game. All right, so there's the round one of that one. What is going on, people? Brian dropping knowledge. I bet the zombies. Owen. Get up. Get a snack. Why? We'll get a Gatorade. Gotta have something. So yeah, I honestly don't know if a better camera would do what I need it to do better. Because I don't know if a better camera would be better for the cross stitch streams too, right? I like this color combination. I forget what I had the purple yarn for. Let's turn that off for now. Excuse me. All right. I think I'm done playing with the camera. You like, yeah, and it's like a, see, this is the thing too with this camera, and I don't know if it's the camera. It's variegated, so it changes. Like, this is kind of a pinkish. There's like a dark, it goes from dark to like, to light to white almost, and then back to dark. It changes. Look at you with your green popsicle now. We need to, they've added extra sub badges spots, so need to adjust a couple to make new ones for 1.5 years, I think it is. See, I don't know if it's because I have the camera so close. I don't know if you were there when I was saying I honestly don't know if a different camera would work, or if it's just how I have this set up. If that's the issue. Because I have it down so far. But see, I don't have any way, the only way to get it to zoom in closer is to crop it, which might be distorting the picture a little bit, because there's no software to do with this camera. Because it's just like an off-brand, I don't even know what the brand of it is. Alright, that's another row. Where's my sheet here? Because I got to keep track of this so I know where I'm at. I also found, took me a bit, but I remember I had emailed you, Brian, before about printing a pattern, so I went searching in my old Gmail files, my sent folder, and found where I had sent you the request to print it so that I could get my pattern back for those slipper boots. And that was quite a while ago. Took me a bit to find it. This is actually an ivory and purple too, by the way. It's not completely white. See, I know the Logitech cameras, because I had a Logitech before, but it was one of the ones that had quit on me. Actually, 1 second. I didn't get rid of 2 Logitechs. So, no, I did then, I guess. This is a UVC something or other, so it's just a generic. It's nothing fancy. So, I don't know what to say, but cause see, if depending on the lighting, I don't know. I'll have to play around with it a bit more, I think. We'll get it working. So that's 4. So one more colored yarn row. If only that software with the OBS plugin for your phone. Something tells me it was like a monthly fee. I don't know, because the phone camera would be super clear. My only issue is too, well, if I unplugged my controller, I guess, because I have a controller plugged into my, I only have so many USB ports, right? So, but I want it to be as clear as possible. I appreciate everybody hanging out, even if you're lurking. Hopefully the numbers of people that pop by the craft stream, like I said, it's not my usual. I don't typically. All right, so that's 5. So now we're doing the 2 purl rows. It's not my typically I'm gaming. I'm a gamer. But just to mix it up, I think on Saturday, like I said, Saturdays are going to be the Stardew. All right, we're switching back over to the Saturdays are going to be the Stardew craft. And I think Mondays we'll be doing something, whether it's the mitts or boots or working on a bear, or it'll be stuff that I have to work on for the store. I also need to work on getting the camera angled in such a way that my hands are comfortable with what I'm doing, so that I don't have to keep pulling it back. Yeah, it was the Logitech C920, I think, that was recommended, because I had told you I was watching someone do cross-stitch the other day. Duo was cross-stitching, and I noticed it's super clear, and I asked, I said, you know, do you mind if could you tell me what your camera is that's pointing to your project? And it was the 920C or 920. One was a 920C, I think, and one was a 920S, but the better one was the face cam or something. But basically it was the 920 series that they had. All right, there's one. So I'll have to be doing some darker colors as well, because guys don't necessarily want pink and purple mittens all the time. Sometimes they want, if you did like a brown with a camo inside, that would be nice. There's lots of different color combinations you could do. See, I keep hitting the camera. Like, there's a fine line between having it close enough for you to see what's going on and then too close that it makes it blurry. And I have a feeling I have it too close. Luckily, I have it on a flexible arm. So let's try, whoop, there you get to see all my desk. And my lap. Isn't that great? Let's see if we can fix this a little bit there. There we go. I'm getting tangled here. Here, Owen in there watching videos on his phone, so he's up at least. And that's the second one of those. So now we're going to go on to the next section here. So we're going to switch back to the color. Move the white one out of the way. I keep hitting the camera. I'm so sorry. So we're going to knit one. We got to get that out of the way here. Knit one, purl two. So then knit four, slide two purlways, knit four all the way around again. One thing you have to do every so often is also untangle your yarn, because you got the two strands and they're twisting together every time you go around. See? It makes the honeycombs. My color's still not quite right either, by the way. So I wonder. If I go into my Elgato Control Center, Control Center, my color temperature is set to 6,400, give or take. So if I go into my white balance, shouldn't that mean that I have to put my white balance to that? Configure video. That's really not. That's my hand. Why? It's the light, I think. So if I turn that off, okay, it messes up my green screen. I realize that. And if I turn that off, it's still, the brightness is, which is weird because there's like no light on it. All right. Ow. The only thing I can think of is where I have it cropped and stuff like that. Anyway, let's just keep on going. I'll have to figure that out on my own time. It's just sometimes you don't notice it until you go live because, like I said, it could also be the quality of the camera, right? Let's see. After a few more rows here, I'm going to have to take a break for a second and go get my stitch holder for my thumb hole. I totally forgot that in the other room. And I find too, when you're working on something like this on camera, it depends on the color that you've chosen. One second. Drop my needle. It depends on the colors you've chosen too, just how they show up on screen too, right? So. But yeah, like this bit, the color combinations you could do would be like, you name it. And if you wanted, something that's nice is two shades that are very similar, so that it almost looks like it's just more of a texture thing than a color change thing. Alright, so and again I can tell I finished the round because when you look, I have the tail at the part that marks where the end of the round is. So that way I always know where I'm at. And something too, if you've got people that are into sports and stuff, if you're making these, you can make them like in the team colors. Like Brian's a big Maple Leafs fan, you could do like the Maple Leaf blue on the, instead of the white part here, and then do white on the inside. Or if you were a Boston fan like Meter is, you could do black and white or black and gold. You could basically customize it just to suit your needs, or for whoever you were making them for, if it wasn't for yourself. They're very versatile. All right, next round. So tomorrow is a day off, no stream tomorrow. Then Wednesday, I'll be back with a game. I'm just not sure what we're going to be playing yet. Wait and see. Could be a couple of different ones. And so Wednesday is going to be at 10 a.m. And I've updated the schedule on Twitch here, but I've also updated it in Gilded. And Discord for those of you who are in that. I'd like to see pretty much everybody move over. Gilded's got a lot of nice features to it. I used to make a lot of these when Owen was younger, because half the time he would, and I would make them all the same colors, because half the time he'd end up coming home with just one. Well, if you're short 1 minute, if you make them all of the same color, you can just turn around and replace the one that was lost, and no big deal. Because when he was little, you could make the smaller ones with just some scraps of yarn you had. Once you get into the groove of it, it goes pretty quickly. Alright, so that's that. Now, why do I think that that's wrong? 1 second. No, this is me looking at the pattern I had written down. Okay, so we're going to purl this. We're going to purl this round. And then go get the stitch holder. right. All right, so I need to be right back because I have to go and get the stitch holder for the thumb. So I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So I had to go get this. This is a stitch holder. So what I have to do now is we're going to purl 2 because we would still technically be on our second purl. So we're going to purl 2, but then we're going to put the next 8 stitches onto this. So we have to be careful that we don't drop that needle and have the stitches fall off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where the thumb's going to be. But we can't just turn around and close this. We need to put the stitches back on that we just took off. So we need to put 8 stitches back on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to keep going with the rest of our purl row. And when you go, that's always been the easiest way I found to do them like that. But when you go to do the next row, it can be kind of tight. But it all works out in the long run. finish this purl row. So again, thank you for hanging. What, Owen? Yeah. All right. So now that what? Yes. Thought you heard me. Sorry. So we've done that. So now, let me just turn my page here on my pattern. Because despite the fact, so now we have to repeat round 1 to 14 3 more times. So this is why it's important to keep track. Because basically, we have done from about, say, here up to here, where your thumb goes in. Like you can see, kind of like if I put my hand, it's a little tight because of the needles. I don't want to stretch it. If I pulled it on, it would go down over, but I don't want to pull the needles out. So the yarn's super soft too, which is nice. So 1 to 14. So we're going to knit 4, slip 2 purlwise. That's where we're at. But I want to make sure that my white yarn is back. There we go. And now we've got the stitch holder to kind of maneuver, which isn't too bad once you get going. This is where it gets tight because these are stitches you've put on. 1, 2, 3. But just this row. 4. Hello. What you doing?
I don't even know.
Well, why don't you get yourself a snack?
Nah.
Please?
There's a cat on your bed.
I know, there's a cat on the bed. As I said, it's a little tight at first for the first round after. There's that.
say hi?
Hi, Apple Kitty. Alright, she doesn't look too happy.
What do you smell like?
What on?
You're sniffing something.
I don't know. Oh, the mittens maybe behind you.
Do they smoke that? Pineapple.
Alright. We're getting there. Oh, I just scratched a fly bite. Crap. 1 second. Apparently I scratched it before. Let's see. Get away from the yarn, kitty cat. No beavers. All right. So we have to keep going. I have no clue. I'm trying to see if it's the lighting that's affecting it. Because I really don't know. Time to stand up. Don't think so. let's do another row here. I'm all tangled. So when you have a combination like this too, you could make a hat with the light color. You can make a purple hat, a pink hat. Like it kind of all matches because it's got a bit of every color in it. All right, let's see. Oops, I had a typo. All right, let's see here. I think I'm going to stop the stream there. My hands are getting a little sore. Thank you to anyone who was watching. I just saw Brian Six. So like I said, tomorrow is a day off. But I will be back on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Not sure what we're doing. And take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate the support.